Legend says that with a toss of a coin over the shoulder into Rome's Trevi fountain, one is sure to make a return to the eternal city. Perhaps this fate lies ahead for some heads of state as they partook in the tradition on the final day of the latest G20 summit. The meeting of world leaders was headlined as a precursor to the UN's climate conference in Glasgow. One of the biggest successes from the summit, according to Italian Prime Minister Mario Draghi, was the commitment to the phasing out of coal.
So, what's the success of this summit? Well, G20 countries committed to keeping the 1.5 target within reach, with a series of immediate actions and medium-term commitments. We've decided to put coal behind us, starting with the international public commitment to eliminate finance for the new unabated coal, all this finance will stop by 2021.
All eyes now turn to Glasgow, where COP26 gets underway. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson gave a stark warning to global leaders that they must honour the terms of the Paris Agreement.
That if Glasgow fails, then the whole thing fails. The Paris Agreement will have crumpled at the first reckoning. The world's only mechanism, viable mechanism for dealing with climate change will be holed beneath the waterline. Right now, the Paris Agreement and the hope that came with it is just a piece of paper.
However, some environmental organisations say not enough was achieved at this G20. Although commitments have been signed, there has been no clear date declared for a complete phase-out of fossil fuels or for achieving carbon neutrality.
Italy's Prime Minister Mario Draghi said, and I quote, that multilateralism is the best answer to the problems we face, and he urged all leaders to overcome differences. Now, this summit has been widely seen as a major test for the functioning of the multilateral order after the Trump years, and this has been a climate-focused G20 with COVID-19 and the global economic recovery topping a packed agenda. Climate talks have prepared the ground for the UN's climate conference that begins in Scotland on Monday. In fact, G20 leaders represent countries accounting for 80% of the world's emissions. Italy's Prime Minister Mario Draghi said, in fact, that whatever he's been discussed here and decided here will have an impact on the success of the Glasgow conference. Now, in the final declaration, G20 leaders did acknowledge the need to cap global warming at 1.5 degrees Celsius level, although they failed to set a shared deadline to carbon emissions. They failed to agree on a target date, and that's because G20 members remain at odds over such a major deal. Although progress has been made on other fronts, such as the deal on a global tax rate, which would see profits of large businesses taxed at least 15%. Now, agreeing on a way to carbon emissions clearly is proving difficult. The final declaration offered a few new commitments in that sense. Discussions will continue in Glasgow, and we'll see whether or not the outcome of that conference will be more satisfying. Giorgio Orlandi for Euronews at the G20 Leaders Summit in Rome.